Hi, Sucharita.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you for thank you for joining in. I'm so glad that you gave us the time. And I would just give you a little bit of a background. I don't know how much you have been able to follow up, but just in the past few weeks, we've done a lot of sessions with a lot of filmmakers, from directors to editors from all divisions. And, it's always very inspiring to listen to their journey. And, one part of the journey is getting your film made. And
Yeah,
the next journey is how the films get received.
I have
And
no inspiration to offer you. Zero
no,
inspiration. So let me stop you right
but
there.
No, but something that everybody looks forward to is, after they cross one part of their journey, which is getting their film made, is how do the films get received?
Yeah.
How well they're received, and film critiques play a very important role in, ascertaining that. And so, how did you? How do you? What part of it that you is it that you enjoy? Reviewing a film.
I enjoy a day like today when there's multiple films to be watched back to back because there's a lot of big Hindi film releases that are coming out tomorrow. We're going to be watching Shakuntala. We're going to be watching Loot Case. There's Yara. It's like rainfall after a season of drought because I haven't had the opportunity to critique a new release since Bulbul came out actually. So it has been a few weeks. I love
Right.
it, yaar. I love watching movies. I love stories and storytelling and various techniques of storytelling. And cinema is my favorite technique. Movies are my favorite technique of storytelling, favorite medium of storytelling. तो जो मैं जितने
Right.
प्यार से फिल्में देखती हूँ उतने प्यार से मैं उनके बारे में लिखती हूँ और जब मैं उनके प्यार से लिखती हूँ तो मुझे लगता है इसको प्रेजेंट भी मैं ही कर सकती हूँ बेस्ट फिर मुझे प्रेजेंट करती हूँ तो
Right.
फिर मजे आ जाते हैं गाली पड़ती है पर इट्स फन.
But do you always write it प्यार से for all the films?
Yeah,
How is it
everything is
that,
coming from a place of love. No, yeah, listen, even the bad ones are coming from a place of love because they just love movies. Okay, so anything that is
right,
passionate or anything that people are like, oh God, why is she so angry? Because there's so much love. That is the emotion that is
right.
coming out in the form of anger. Really, it's all love.
But how do you, let's say, you have to review, you know, as many movies as possible. But
हाँ
how do you detox yourself after, let's say, you have ended up watching a bad movie, which
हाँ.
wasn't entirely you know, to your standard or didn't meet the expectation. So how do you detox from that?
So, no, listen, movie watching is not toxic, yeah. I don't need a detox after watching movies. It is okay. It might be a terrible film. It might be all kinds of ridiculous. But movie watching is not toxic for me at all. I love it. And I'm very ridiculously lucky that I get to indulge my interest in watching movies into a profession. उससे ज़्यादा अच्छी बात और क्या हो सकती है जिंदगी में. तो मेरे को बिल्कुल डिटॉक्स करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है मुझे इंटरनेट से डिटॉक्स करने की जरूरत पड़ती है बिकॉज माई मूवी रिव्यूज दे लिव ऑन द इंटरनेट बिकॉज आई एम नॉट अ प्रिंट journalist. I am not a television journalist. My reviews and my work lives on the internet. So I have to detox
Right.
from that, from talking about my work and trying to spread it. But it's important because there's so much noise out there. So you really have to learn how to cut through that noise. But after a while, it's just like, हो गया बस अभी देखना है देखो नहीं देखना मत देखो मैं बंद कर रही हूँ. Bye. But not movies. I don't
Right.
need to detox from a bad film or anything.
But do you think that you're able to review all the movies that you watch without any bias, or does bias also sometimes factor in?
Bias always factors in because you are human, and when you're talking about movies, it is coming from a personal place of who you are as an individual and your life experiences, and everything that you've experienced so far really kind of makes your opinions on everything that you are experiencing right now. So, movie reviews are biased. Movie reviews are obviously coming from a personal place, but also that is why movie reviews are not news. You do not have to believe me. I am saying something. Go seek out a movie critic that you choose to believe. You don't believe me.
Right.
You don't think that I'm authentic because by having biases is one thing, but what's important is being aware of the biases. You have to be
Right.
aware that this is a particular kind of story that you enjoy more than others, or this is a particular kind of genre that you do not enjoy as much as you. As long as you're aware of that, and as long as you're honest about that in your writing, in your reproduction of the thoughts that you had when you were watching the film, I think that's okay. And that's totally fine. If you do not agree with my biases, if you do not agree with my opinion on things, please go find another film critic that you think that you can trust. You don't even have to agree with the film critic you trust all the time. You can disagree with them, but you just have to trust them.
So what are the kind of movies that have made an impact on you in the recent past, or generally? I mean, I know there are many movies, but if you can name a few so that we know so that we can know Sucharita better.
I have been watching a lot of films that I missed out on watching in the last few years, because being a film critic, watching every Friday release means that there is not a whole lot of time left to watch other films also. Because contrary to popular belief, film critics don't make a lot of money. Okay, तो हमें बहुत सारी चीजें और करनी पड़ती हैं अपनी जिंदगानी चलाने के लिए. जैसे कि कहीं पे हम कहीं कुछ लिख रहे हैं, मैं otherwise occupied working for other things and things like that, so there was not enough time. But now that everything is shut down, time hai. So I've caught up on a lot of films recently, even like the more popular ones that I missed out. Like I watched Marriage Story, which I hadn't watched when it first came out, and it's incredible. I recently watched Phantom Thread, and I'm just like, what in the world, what are we even doing with our lives? We have no talent. We are all talentless people. We should only watch Paul Thomas Anderson films. I watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire. That movie left a very, very strong impact on me for everything that it stood for, and not just within the film, but everything that it stood for outside the film also. The Celine Sciamma's interviews and her conversations and her political stands, and the actors, both of them. So yeah, I guess, I'm actually quite thankful that I have the opportunity to just sit idle and watch movies right now in the lockdown. मैं तो बहुत खुश हूँ.
Right. But when you watch all these movies, and you watch a lot, what do you feel what is it that needs to really improve in the Indian cinema? What is it that desperately needs to be improved?
Honesty. हम a lot of the times बहुत ही डिसऑनेस्ट फिल्में बनाते हैं, जिसमें पता है कि ये फिल्म आप सिर्फ आप फिल्म बनाने के लिए फिल्म बना रहे हो, सिर्फ क्योंकि आपके पास मीन्स हैं, या आपके पास लोग हैं, या आपके पास पैसे हैं, तो आप बना रहे हो. I think we need to be more honest. And because due to honesty, from honesty will come respect for the craft that is storytelling via film, and that's what I think is missing from the writing and creation of the films that we have right now. Of course, there are honest filmmakers as well, but art has a purpose. And the purpose, one of the purposes of art is to encourage conversation, is to push discourse, is to encourage people to have free thought and analysis. That is one of the purposes of art. Entertainment is a small part of why we watch films. And I think a lot of our filmmakers, I won't even say have forgotten that this is the purpose of art. I think they don't even understand that is the purpose of art. Because they're not making it with honesty. They're pandering. Right. So we have to stop pandering.
A lot of the comments were completely agreeing with that point. And I think when a film is made with honesty, like you said, it also ends up appealing a lot more to people. I mean, a lot of times we'll see a movie which has everything right, but somehow it just doesn't connect with you. You know? And you are always like trying to understand what is it that why did this film not connect with you?
Yeah.
But at the same time, do you as a reviewer also end up thinking that, when you're reviewing a film, because you have to review the film on various aspects of the film, do you think that sometimes in your review, also you end up probably appreciating a film where the honesty was not there and it didn't really connect?
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Film reviews also don't exist in a vacuum, just in the same fashion that films don't exist in a vacuum. So films exist in the time that they are released, and then they a lot of times tend to take on a different life or a different meaning when you move on, when you watch the same film 2 years later, 3 years later, even 10 years later. When Dil Chahta Hai released, it was like, wow, like this is it, this film has changed the course of Hindi cinema. But I now look at Dil Chahta Hai and I'm like, there is so much wrong, not really wrong, but there's so much like really like Mahesh Uncle is just standing there like, what is this character doing in the film? So many different things. So a lot of times you go back to the film and you realize, and of course Dil Chahta was at a time when I wasn't reviewing the cinema, but a lot of times, like even the next year you go back to films and you're like, yeah, no, I was in a different frame of mind, and I spoke with my honesty then, but with my truth has my life has changed, my thoughts have evolved, and I don't agree with the things that and that's evolution of thought, right? That's how people evolve. Like Tamasha, when it released, I was like blown away by the film, but when I revisited it later, I wasn't that impressed with that film again. So things change, thoughts evolve, and then again, like it's on you if you choose to. A good film critic, in my years of learning and understanding, because I'm constantly striving to learn more about the craft of writing about films, a good film critic will be aware that they are not there to pass judgment on a film. They are not there to say yes and no. The reason why we write long pieces and the reason why we produce long pieces and then we go back to a film and do discussions amongst each other about the film is because the film deserves that. Any film deserves that, because making a film, you're aware, is a miracle. Making any film is like 5,000 things have to come together for even a short film to get made and released. So films deserve conversation. And we're not sitting here in judgment of anything. कि yes या no. उतनी power नहीं होती है film critics के पास. पता नहीं लोगों को क्यों लगता है ऐसा.
Right. But I think also because, a lot of times people also decide whether to see a film or not to see a film based on a review.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of power in that, I mean, sometimes the word of mouth for a good film, maybe a word of mouth will end up taking a lot of time. But a reviewer, and that too a reputed reviewer who doesn't mix words like you, I mean, people look up to that. I mean, they decide on the basis of that review. So that's why I think the importance is. But like in the past, when there were
the responsibility a film critic is aware of. We are aware of our responsibility of giving respect to the art form that we are talking about. Our responsibility pales in comparison of what the film is responsible for. This is a film critic, like a small planet going around the sun. This is the film. The film has responsibility. And if the film is not standing up to its responsibility, or if the film is failing its responsibility, we are going to make tiny little notes about it and talk about it, and then it's on the public. Again, a film critic will encourage conversation. A film critic will encourage free thought constantly.
Right. But in the recent times, and also this is a point which is brought forward by Priya Seth, one of the senior cinematographers. And I also think about it that recently I've started noticing that a lot of films, easily get 3 reviews. There are very few times when 3 stars, sorry. There are very few times when a film gets below 3 stars. And, then that makes you wonder that either all the films are, maybe watchable, or the reviewer is being a little easy on the film. Which also brings me to another, I'll add, it'll be a longer question, sorry.
No,
because there was another there were few comments made in the past sessions that when it comes to reviewing films, I think the critiques sometimes are not actually reviewing a film on all the yardsticks. Like, for example, there are a lot of things that the critiques are not really in tune with. Maybe the craft of the film.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like many times when it's said that the cinematography is good, how is it good?
Yeah.
You know, like what makes it good?
Yeah.
And Priya is saying that should we do that star thing at all? Like, should we give films the stars at all?
No. I've
What
never
am I
given
supposed to
stars.
take out of what am I supposed to take out of those three
Nothing.
stars out of 5?
Nothing.
What does it mean?
It doesn't work. It is a flawed. I agree with Priya. It is flawed. It is silly. I've never given stars. When I started giving reviews, I didn't understand the concept of stars because I found it very like, how do you, like, it's not like Shah Rukh Khan said. I think Shah Rukh Khan said. I forget, but I think it was at the Film Critics Guild Awards, and Shah Rukh was like, "ये कोई restaurant, मतलब कोई dish नहीं खा रहे हो आप, you know, it is a whole ecosystem that you're talking about. A film is a mini ecosystem unto itself. Stars are regressive. They are not useful. Film Companion has dropped them entirely. No film critics at Film Companion do stars anymore. I have never done stars because it doesn't make sense to me. I have spent the last few years trying to learn more about cinema as well. I did go to film school. I wanted to learn more about films because, you know, I love, you want to learn more about things you love. So I went to film school. And then I decided that I'm good at talking about films. So that's what I would do. But that doesn't mean that I know everything. मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं पता है, तो मैं सीखती रहती हूँ धीरे धीरे. जो मैं 3 साल पहले फिल्म रिव्यूज कर रही थी वो अलग है, जो मैं आज कर रही हूँ उससे अलग है. तो वो मेरा एवोल्यूशन है. जो अगर आप फिल्म मेकर का एवोल्यूशन देखें, या आप एक्टर का एवोल्यूशन देखें, आप राइटर्स का एवोल्यूशन देखें, फिल्म क्रिटिक्स का भी उसी तरीके से एवोल्यूशन होता है. बिकॉज वी आर आल्सो राइटर्स, राइट? मैं कैमरा के सामने ऐसे अभी एक्सटेम्पोर बोल रही हूँ, बट माय रिव्यूज आर ऑल वेरी प्रॉपर्ली रिटन. I spend, when I have the opportunity, I spend as long as I can to live with the film, sleep on it, think about it, listen to the music over and over again, just kind of like, I get lost in the film when I'm writing about it. And that is why when I'm upset with a film, then it comes out that passionately, because I'm just like, nah. So star system is flawed extremely. I don't subscribe to it. And I mean, I agree. We should when we say cinematography is good, or when we say you know, this shot was lit in this manner, what does that mean? If there was a shadow on the protagonist's face, what does that shadow signify? Why is that shadow on the protagonist's face? It's, you know, like I said, like we write one review, then we do one discussion, then we do another post about it, because we like talking about films that we like and that we enjoy. So I'm with you on that. You know, when you can't just get away with saying cinematography is good, acting okay.
Many times you get that feeling that when the reviews are very focused on, let's say, the actors and I wouldn't even say the story, because I don't understand many times what are we actually judging on the story, how are we judging it, and the reviews end up being primarily focusing on the actors, and which is probably how it is most of the times. But I think when you're from a film critique, you would expect, I don't think that it's unfair to expect that they would get into the depth of other aspects of filmmaking, which actually enhance a film many times. It can be editing or even cinematography or a sound design. I mean, you've already spoken about.
See, but then again, it's on the audience to then ascertain which film critic they trust. If you are looking for one-word review, then you have one person who does that also, where you don't want to talk about the film outside the one word, awesome, or you know, melancholic, I don't even know. But if you are looking to read or watch somebody who will talk about the film as a sum of its parts and not just the acting performances. See, it's a whole lot of things, okay? It's a system we have in our film industry. I was a radio journalist for 10 years. I did interviews with celebrities. Not once have I done an interview with cinematographers. Not once have I done an interview with an editor only talking about editing, because I was a radio jockey and those were the only interviews that the PR machinery made available to us. Here in our, at least in the Hindi ecosystem, you know, IWCC is trying to change the order a little bit, an order that doesn't exist. We don't talk about cinematography, let alone women in cinematography. That's a whole different thing altogether. So 10 years of doing interviews, that those anybody outside the actors and maybe a director at some point were not made available to us. It's only when you zoom out a little bit and when you, that's why you need to ascertain which film critic you respect, a film critic that recognizes that the PR machinery is at play, and they're doing their jobs. You know, publicists are doing their jobs. It is their jobs. If cinematographers had the money to hire publicists, I assume y'all will also hire publicists, you know, but filmmakers have the money. The actors are paid that exorbitant amount that they can hire publicists, and they do, and they break through and they make their presence felt a lot more. So you have to ascertain which film critic sees through that, realizes and understands what is just PR at play and what is actually the people who have put the film together. I am not a Gyani, I am not a guru. I have made tremendous mistakes in the past. I am growing and learning with each film that I'm watching. You know, I comb through the credits many times. When some credits are not available, then I reach out to, you know, my friends in the production team, or try to find out, acha, who was the editor on this film, can you confirm, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, you have to be aware of the different kind of film critics there are and which ones you want to trust and respect.
Right. Yeah, I think we need more variety of film critiques as well. Also,
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल. लोग कहते हैं कि आजकल तो सभी फिल्म क्रिटिक है, तो मैं कहा क्यों नहीं यार, होने चाहिए. इन्हीं में से निकलेंगे कुछ लोग जिनकी कुछ ऐसे थॉट्स होंगे, जिनके जो विचार होंगे जो नहीं है अभी हमारे सामने. तो अगर इंटरनेट सबके पास है और अगर सब फिल्में देख रहे हैं, तो सबको अपना ओपिनियन व्यक्त करना चाहिए उन फिल्मों के ऊपर, और उसी में से कुछ फिल्म क्रिटिक्स नए निकलेंगे. हम बैठ के गेट कीपिंग नहीं कर सकते यहाँ पर कि नहीं हम ही है फिल्म क्रिटिक, ये नए बच्चों को कुछ नहीं आता. प्लीज, सबको आता है, करने दो. You know, sorry.
Right. But what do you think it takes to become a good film critic? Like, how did you went to a film school, so you had a knowledge of filmmaking, and you know. But when you say that more people should become film critics and there is no gatekeeping, so but at the same time, what are your thoughts on the basic criteria for becoming a film critic that you should at least have?
You know, we tend to see film criticism as something that is so easy. Picture देखी, कैमरा के सामने बैठ के बातें तो करनी है, उसमें क्या film critic है, मैं भी film critic बन जाऊं. ये, even if, you know, we don't actually say this out loud, this is the perception about film critics that people just have. To become a good film critic is similar to any other profession. How do you get good at any profession? By learning, by observing, by reading, by participating, by becoming a part of a community of people like you, by conversations with people like you, by practical exposure in the field. And that's when you become a good film critic. You are sitting in front of a camera and talking about a film, and everybody, it just feels like, yeah, you know, this is easy, I can do this. Do it. But that doesn't make you a film critic. It makes you a commentator on films. And to become a film critic, somebody who can really critique and analyze, it takes time, it takes years, it takes effort, and it takes a lot of patience, like it would in any profession. Yeah, you know, any profession. Right. You cannot just pick up a camera and become a cinematographer now that my iPhone has a camera that is better than anything that has been out there before. You need to learn. There's techniques involved. There's technical things involved. It's an evolution.
Right, and also I think film reviews can actually play a very strong role in the kind of films that end up getting made. Of course, there is the financial aspect of it, I mean, which drives most of our stories and whatever we make. But at the same time, I think if there is, a very poignant critique of what is being made, at least some change over a period of time can be expected. So I think in that regard, a film critique plays a very important role. And I'm glad that we have someone like you. Well, you were going to say something.
I hope it does, because it has not deterred from really trashy films making crores and crores of rupees. Our film reviews have not deterred that from happening in the last 2 years, I would say. Some really trashy films have made a ton of money.
Right.
So,
But do you think that over the last 10 years, some good cinema has also started to come up? I mean, more than there was a vacuum of good films over a period of time. I would say probably from maybe mid 90s to the mid 20s, I guess. Like,
I,
uh,
I mean, I don't know. Those were also a product of their time. Like you had like Dil Chahta Hai came out around that time, and uh, at that point in time, like Mohabbatein was a great film, and you watch Mohabbatein now, and you're just like, oh no, what is this? It's trash. What are they teaching in this goddamn school? So, you know, I, then it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with Mohabbat. It didn't even seem like there was anything wrong with Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. But you go and watch the film now and you're just like, what in the world is this blasphemy? So it's not like, the definition of like what is a good film. It changes because it is a product of its. Friends was a good show when it released. It ran for 10 seasons. People loved it. There was so much money in it. But now you revisit the show and you realize, no, this show was very problematic. It was homophobic. It was transphobic. There's a lot of problems with that show. So, जो अपने टाइम में जो फिल्में निकलती है ना, वो उस टाइम में देखना जरूरी होता है. बाद में आप रिविजिट करते रहे और बाद में आप बोलते रहे उसके बारे में. तो मैं ये नहीं बोलूंगी कि अच्छी फिल्में नहीं आई या बुरी फिल्में नहीं आई. अभी जो फिल्में आ रही है, I'd rather just talk about how I want to talk about the films right now.
Okay, so coming back to the films that you said that we need to see them in the time that they are made. But I mean, I was also thinking of, we've had some timeless cinema as well. Like no matter when you watch them, they are always, you can always relate to them. So I think
No,
there
see,
has been.
that's a good film. A good film will be timeless. A bad film will not be timeless. But both of them will be a product of their time, very much so. But a good film will remain timeless. A good film you will be able to watch 10 years later and still be blown away by it. I recently read Jurassic Park, the book, Michael Crichton, because I was like, let's see where this film came from, because Jurassic Park remains one of my favorite films ever made.
Same here.
And I read the book, and the book is not good. The book is not good. And you watch the film, and that film never gets bad. 500 times I've watched it, and it is never bad. So it is about how good your film is. If it is a good film, regardless of what trashy book it has come from, well, not trashy, but it's just not that good a book, Jurassic Park. So good film will remain timeless.
Right. But at the same time, in the last 10 years or so, there's one question that I have to ask is when you see a film between, let's say, a film made by a male director and a female director.
Yeah.
Have you observed any kind of a difference, or is there a difference that you have felt, or nothing substantial? Anything? I mean, what is your honest opinion on that?
Where do I start? I printed a t-shirt. Okay, I printed a t-shirt, and that t-shirt says women telling women's stories, because storytelling is such a power. It's a power that men have always had. Men have written all the stories. So everything you know about history or science or geography or anything, it has come from men. cinema.
Right.
Those are the stories that we've been told. And that's what becomes fact then. That becomes history. And I'm not saying that those are all falsehoods. Those can be true. But in those stories, women don't figure. Women don't exist, or if they do, they have very menial parts to play. This I'm talking about not just cinematic history, but history, like human history, world history, mankind history, right?
Yeah.
When women get up and when women grab the power of storytelling, we are taking control of our narrative, which is the most important thing in the world, is to be in control of your narrative. Nobody else gets to tell my story. I tell my own story. And that doesn't necessarily mean I have to direct a film. I can be a writer on the film. I can be a professor at a university. I can be a cartographer making maps. I can be anybody. But as long as women have the opportunity, grab the opportunity, and more often than not, we have to create the opportunity to tell our own stories. It makes all the difference. We then get to write about ourselves with our truth, with our honesty. I'm not saying women are angels sent from heaven and we can do no wrong. It's not about that. It's about representation. And women, when we get to represent ourselves, the pen is mightier than the sword. So it makes a world of difference.
So, but as a woman, when you are expressing your views, let's say even on a movie or anything, how hard do you find it to be? I mean, there's one thing that getting to make a movie, but at the same time, when you have to express your views, how easy is that?
Yeah,
what do you think?
It varies from person to person, because it also depends on where you're expressing your views. Are you expressing your views in your living room? Are you expressing your views in front of your friends and family? Are you expressing your views on the internet, on television, on print, in a movie, in a conference? Are you expressing your views in rooms of power, in rooms of decision making? Is that where you're expressing your views? It varies. And every room and space that a woman expresses her views requires a different level of strength. It is never easy unless you're in the IWCC, where you're all women together and you're there to support each other and build each other up by sharing each other's work. You're building each other up by showing to the world, this is what I can do. This is my work. This is my power. Let me do this. I do it better than others. Unless you're in that room where you are giving each other strength. But when you're in any other room, digital or analog, the levels of strength required are different and they vary. It also makes a difference of who you are and where you've come from. I have a ton of upper class Hindu Brahmin privilege. So much. Like, I'm not even aware of the kind of systemic privilege I have had in my life growing up and being able to express myself. Women who are not me are oppressed by not just patriarchy, but other things, the caste system, everything. So levels of strength have to vary. They do vary. But strength is always needed. So that is why I do a little dance in my reviews when it is a story of a woman being told by women, and I do a little circle and women telling women's stories, because that is us giving each other strength that we have earned and accumulated and stored, and I'm willing to share it with you, but not with him, but with you. You can take it.
Right. Also because I think not just in films, to be able to come forward in any profession, I think one thing which is needed, other than, of course, that particular skill, is the strength to be able to express yourself. Because at the end of the day, everything is an expression of who you are and who you want to be. But, at least in today's time, what is also started to come forward, that it's become maybe twofold more difficult to express yourself, especially on a public platform. Like, I mean, like for example, how would you deal with let's say trolling? If you end up making a story, when you talk about honesty also, you want to make something honestly, but where do you draw the strength from to be able to say something honestly?
From each other, from you, from everything
Right.
that you do, from everything that I see women who are writing and creating and directing. See, online trolling it takes a mental toll on you, but it is only a reflection of what the real world is. If people are trolling you online, it is because they're also actively stopping you in rooms of power to do things. So when I see women who might not even be active on social media, but when I see them go out and make their films or become professors or even continue to raise their children with their values and morals and the kind of life that they want to give their children, that is where I draw my strength from. If she can do it, I can do it, and I will support her, she will support me. That's my community, that's my group of women that I trust. You have to be able to trust also, right? There are also very evil women, lots of evil women, like there are evil men. But when you find your community, when you find women you trust, it gives you strength to deal with everything. Online trolling is a part of it, it's a big part of it, but I draw my strength from looking at other women who have come before me, who've been dealing with online trolling for years before I was even a creator on the internet, and women who are doing it alongside me all over the world. We're all in it together. So
Right. But I mean, what does one do when it actually ends up, taking a toll on you? Like, how do you have any, other than, of course, looking at other women for strength, but do you have any other tips to deal with such kind of trolling?
I wish I had a solution, because logging off of the internet is only a temporary relief. It's not even temporary solution. It is temporary relief. Because for somebody like me, I have to be on the internet. My work is there. I have to tweet. I have to share my work on Twitter. I have to engage with people on Instagram. It is what I have to do to make sure that my work gets out there. I use it as that kind of a tool. But yeah, when the trolling gets really bad, sometimes you have to like zoom out a little bit and then remind yourself what is your real life and what is this nameless, faceless army of people who do not have a control on your real life. So you take back control. You remind yourself that my narrative is in my hand. I will control it. Having said that, sometimes things get very scary. Sometimes you get calls, and that is when the digital and the make believe begins to transcend into reality. When it becomes real is when you get actual threats on a phone call, and you just have to try, if you can, to surround yourself with people who will look after you, people who you trust and love. And it could be family, it could be friends, it could be colleagues, it could be a pen pal in Austria, but
Right.
somebody you love and support, and who supports you, and someone you can turn to for perspective. Because in online
Right.
trolling, what happens is we lose perspective, and when you gain perspective is when you reconcile to the fact that this is just how it is, but this is not me, this is not my story.
Right, right. And at the same time, I think why it's also important to get that. Okay, do you want to take that question? Uh, 4 movies releasing tomorrow. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
I've already watched Shakuntala,
Right.
so
So,
I will be writing about it. But yeah, that I was looking forward to that the most. Yes, please go ahead.
no, I was saying that regardless of many factors which can try and discourage you from expressing yourself, I think that's one of the purpose of and why we feel at IWCC that there should be more and more of this culture where more and more people, women particularly, can get together and talk about the experiences, because like you said, many times, even let's say, forget about just expressing yourself, your views, even about when you want to pursue something, many times you take a step back because you aren't sure if that is the right path for a woman, so to say. And then you need to know more and more women like that. You need to meet more and more women, who have been doing similar things that you want to do in order to draw that strength. Many times people take a step back and they don't, let's say, express their views and not do what they want to do. Maybe there are many female filmmakers who want to make something but have not been able to make it because of maybe one of these reasons, not getting that strength at the moment when it was needed. So,
but it is systemic now. They don't get strength because there are not enough female filmmakers. So when you find the path as a female filmmaker, cinematographer, writer, director, whatever, when you find that path, make sure you clear it for women who can then also walk it. When you clear the path, when you make way and space, more women will come. They will join. It is not going to happen overnight, but that's really how feminism has evolved and grown in the decades that it's been around. Women made the path for other reforms to happen, for more women to come in and stake their claim on the positions of power. So when you find the path, clear the path, make room.
Right. I think that is the absolute way forward, because other than that, I think the entire process is going to be very slow. I mean, I feel that it has been slow. There have been many women who we have looked up to, even from maybe 100 years ago. Yeah. But I think the number of that needs to increase, and I think that can only increase as a collective, and which is where we come in and we want to speak to more and more people like Sucharita and hear her views. So, what are the next things, Sucharita, that you are planning? Is there anything underway that you are thinking of? Like you said,
I was so like bored since March कि मैं करूँ तो करूँ क्या, जाऊँ तो जाऊँ कहाँ. तो मैंने ना YouTube पे अपना चैनल शुरू कर दिया है. उस पे मैं कुछ भी बोलती रहती हूँ. So please, if you guys are watching, go to link is in my bio. If you search for my name, my channel should show up, and that's where I'm just all the films that I spoke to you about that I'm catching up on, which I didn't get an opportunity to talk about. I'm talking about them there. It's also an attempt. It's also an attempt for me to engage more with people who are viewing these films, have more conversations, and encourage more analysis. And so that's what I'm doing. It's keeping me busy. I'm talking to filmmakers and I'm talking to writers, and I'm watching movies and putting more videos out as many as I can, because फिल्मों के बारे में बातें नहीं करेंगे तो मेरे को तो और किसी चीज के बारे में बात करनी आती नहीं है, frankly speaking. तो मैं वो कर रही हूँ. I started my YouTube channel, has been my achievement in the lockdown, and I've taught myself, with my brother's help, I've taught myself Adobe Premiere Pro, just how to cut and how to ripple delete. That's all I know. Cut lagan, Control K and ripple delete. Bas.
Right. So what all are you planning on, doing on the channel, other than, of course, talking about the films that you normally...
So I'm also doing conversations with filmmakers. If I have questions about films that I've watched and I've not understood, then I, whichever filmmakers are within my reach, मेरी reach में बहुत 3 या 4 ही लोग हैं मुश्किल से, तो उनको फोन करके पूछ रही हूँ मैं. Also, like, I want to do like filmographies. I want to read directors and their works and really do like deep dive analysis of what a director's work has been like through decades of them working. So conversations with my friends about films, like this kind of stuff, talking about films in various ways, essentially. So that's the plan. youtube.com/Sucharita Tyagi is where you can find me.
That is great. I think no, that not at all. I think there has to be more and more of it, and I think conversations are the first step to lead to anything. I think
yeah.
so. The more we have, last couple of weeks ago, we had a conversation with Nandita Das, and she had spoken so strongly about how we need more and more representation in our films. I don't think that our films are entirely, like you said, one is honesty, and the other thing is that the honesty of more the honesty of the society in general. Like, if there aren't many stories, if there isn't inclusivity in terms of whose stories are we telling, who are we leaving out, then how would somebody even think of making a story on that if we don't talk about it? So,
Correct.
Who are the filmmakers that you are looking forward to? Let's say in the next coming, the promising filmmakers.
Yes. यार मुझे तो चैतन्य थमाने की पिक्चर देखनी है, नहीं उसके बारे में ही बातें हो रही हैं हर जगह, और मुझे बहुत ही वो ईर्ष्या हो रही है कि मैं क्यों नहीं देख पा रही हूँ उस फिल्म को. तो जब जैसे ही मौका मिले वो फिल्म मैं जरूर देखना चाहूंगी. आइवन अय्यर की जो फिल्म है वो भी जो गई है फेस्टिवल में, वो भी मैं देखना चाहूंगी. उनकी सोनी वाज सच अ वंडरफुल मूवी. ओह माय गॉड. Oh my God, at the Film Critics Guild Awards last year, which we watched 2019 films, and unfortunately the ceremony couldn't take place in March because that was right when the virus was spreading and we had to cancel the ceremony. It was all ready, and I had got like fancy clothes and everything, but we had to cancel it in March. And I'd watched Sony, and like every possible category that I could vote for that film, I did, because it is such a wonderful, wonderful film.
Right.
So I think Gitika Vaidya also won the Film Critics Guild Award for Best Actor Female for Sony. Gitika Vaidya Ohalyan. And so both those films I'm looking forward to watching. And then, whatever drops on my computer screen right now, which I will plug to my TV.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when you watch a film like Sony, and I strongly recommend that whoever hasn't seen it, in fact, for that matter,
it's
even
on Netflix.
Court.
Yeah.
Court was also a very strong film, I think, which has come out in the recent times. And, when you watch a film like Sony, for me, like what I was asking you earlier, that you notice a difference between a female director's film and a male director's film. And when I watch a film like Sony, I end up thinking that, wow, where did this man get the sensitivity from?
Correct.
Like, absolutely. How?
So the conversation isn't that remove men. The conversation is that bring as many women in, so that we are at an equal playing field. Right now, the playing field is not equal. Ivan Iyer is an exceptional thinker to have been able to create those characters with that kind of empathy that he did. But women also need to be at that place where they can do it more and again and again and again until we reach an equality.
Right. I mean, because there have been amazing films. Even last time Nandita had mentioned, films like Sujata, or even Hrishikesh Mukherjee's films had very strong female characters. But at the same time, so like you said, the idea is not that, okay, no, only a woman can make a film on women, or for example, even to say that a woman can only make a film on women. There are these two things.
Correct.
Like, for example, even as a cinematographer, many times you get approached for a job saying that, it's a female-driven story. So that's why you need a female.
मैं साड़ी पहन कर आऊं क्या सेट पर? फीमेल ड्रिवन स्टोरी है तो What does that even mean?
Right. So I think it's all about, that is the variety that, you know, people need to actually embrace, in the sense of, it's not, stop typecasting, you know, have a little bit more of an open mind, and have a little bit of more variety. And yeah, I mean, be open to hear different stories. And I think that is something which is where a film critique, you know, can play a role of. I sometimes actually feel that, you know, I wish that this film was just trashed by the critique. Let it do well at the box office. Like, who? I mean, fine. It doesn't have to be, you know, equated, as in the box office success with the quality of the film that is, and that should be. So anyway, on that hopeful note, Sucharita, I wish you very good luck for all your new endeavors, and I hope to hear more and more from you. Thank you so much for thank you for coming and sharing your views with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is quite an honor. I'm very happy that you thought of me in the sea of film critics that there are out there. But thank you. I really appreciate it. अनुपमा चोपड़ा के पास टाइम नहीं था, तो इसलिए आप लोग आए ना मेरे पास. सच बताओ, सच बताओ.
Not at all. We love your energy.
Thank you so much.
We need the fire. The fire that you bring.
Look at my face.
That
doesn't look like I have any fire. I am defeated. I look at these dark circles. But yes, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sucharita. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Fauzia has been commenting with so much enthu. Thank you.
Thank you.